But I think within 1 month, my entire mentality around it changed. I think it's the classes, the way they conduct it, the way teachers talk to you. They don't teach you, they teach you the mindset you need to have for the next 4 5 years of your life, basically. Like you're going to eventually lose the entire life you know as it is, right? So I think that really did the trick for me. And anyway, it just, and the history teachers.
Let's start with that. Let's go beginning of Rishika's journey. So Rishika, like you were preparing for UPSC, which is pretty intense. Talk to us about that. What was that like, that phase?
So basically, I did my graduation from Bangalore, MS Ramya, and I got really good grades in my final year. What no one tells you is that it's very easy, the final semester. But I generally got very good grades, and I've always wanted to study history. But family was like engineering karo, like do the rat race and everything. And I was like, and then I just came across UPSC Civil Services. I don't know how I just came across. And I was like, I'll get to study history. Why not? Like at 21, what do you have to lose? Like I was like, let's do it. And then I enrolled for it. First month I was a little hesitant because I don't come from that background. None of my friends are from bureaucracy or anything like that. But I think within 1 month, my entire mentality around it changed. I think it's the classes, the way they conduct it, the way teachers talk to you. They don't teach you, they teach you the mindset you need to have for the next 4 5 years of your life, basically. Like you're going to eventually lose the entire life you know as it is, right? So I think that really did the trick for me. And anyway, it just, and the history teachers were amazing. So I was like, we gotta do this, and I started preparing for it. First year is always like, and especially when I don't have any background context, first year was just random. Fast forward, I gave 4 attempts, and the fourth result came during COVID, like the first lockdown. I was home, and I didn't make it, and I was just like I was so miserable, and my family was like, "Why are you putting yourself through that? Like, why are you trying to? Like, why do you want to do UPSC CSE?" And because at that point I had studied so much about India and the grassroots problems that people have, I felt as if I could help, I should. If I don't, then it's not good. It's like Spider-Man. Like if you can, you should. And then my cousins were there. A couple of them are into startup and marketing, and they were like, there are other ways to help, and you can use your skill set and better enhancement. And I think when I was giving my third and fourth, I gave in everything. Like I did everything I could as an aspirant from my end. So I didn't feel that regret ki I'm leaving it. I could have tried more. I was happy. Like I was content. Like I did my best shot. And moving forward, I was like, and I had changed two careers within a decade. I done engineering, I did UPSC, CSC, and I was like, I cannot give any more competition. That's for sure. And uske baad, I wanted to do something which comes naturally to me, because I also had to upskill quickly. I also had to, like pick myself up quickly. And I've always been doing Photoshop since I was a kid. I've been going to inter-public school conferences and all these competitions in 11th and 12th. And I was like, why not do this? And then Photoshop just didn't make a lot of sense. It wasn't helping me solve anything. And that's when I beautifully stumbled upon cohort-based courses and UI UX. And I know Abhinav through a friend, and I was like, I reached out to him, and I was like, what's happening? He's like, it's a great course, try reaching out and all. And we filled form, and fast forward Feb 2021, we started with the cohort. And yeah, and since then it's just been amazing. Like it's just been designed.
That is insane. And then, so one thing I want to kind of get your perspective on. So you joined the 10K designers cohort, and there, what was something that really stood out to you in terms of like just the community aspect, or maybe the lounge sessions? Maybe you could talk something about that.
I think I'll be very honest. I didn't finish all the assignments. I mean, everyone watching, do your assignments. I just because there were so many talented folks, I just wanted to like talk. It was just like sitting at the it was such an easy way to upskill and just talk to people. I really believe you can learn a lot from someone's experiences. That you learn faster like that, and then you navigate yourself. And I was like, if I've come here for this, why not utilize this? And I was like, I reached out to him, and I was like, what's happening? He's like, it's a great course, try reaching out and all. And we filled form, and fast forward Feb 2021, we started with the cohort. And yeah, and since then it's just been amazing. Like it's just been designed.
That is insane. And then, so one thing I want to kind of get your perspective on. So you joined the 10K designers cohort, and there, what was something that really stood out to you in terms of like just the community aspect, or maybe the lounge sessions? Maybe you could talk something about that.
I think I'll be very honest. I didn't finish all the assignments. I mean, everyone watching, do your assignments. I just because there were so many talented folks, I just wanted to like talk. it was just like sitting at the, it was such an easy way to upskill and just talk to people. I really believe you can learn a lot from someone's experiences, that you learn faster like that, and then you navigate yourself. And I was like, if I've come here for this, why not utilize this? And luckily for me, the people in my cohort, we all became very good friends. We would end up being on lounge for like six hours, play Scribble, play code names and all these Among Us and all these games. And we started spending a lot of time on lounge. And the mentors would hop in, they would come and chill with us and go. And eventually, like from not knowing what to talk to them, I started understanding what is the correct questions to ask them. Like, to like how can they help me? Basically, I was helping them help me. Like
10K Designers cohort, and there, what was something that really stood out to you in terms of like just the community aspect, or maybe the lounge sessions? Maybe you could talk something about that.
I think I'll be very honest. I didn't finish all the assignments. I mean, everyone watching, do your assignments. I just because there were so many talented folks, I just wanted to like talk. It was just like sitting at the, it was such an easy way to upskill and just talk to people. I really believe you can learn a lot from someone's experiences, that you learn faster like that, and then you navigate yourself. And I was like, if I've come here for this, why not utilize this? And luckily for me, the people in my cohort, we all became very good friends. We would end up being on lounge for like six hours, play Scribble, play code names and all these Among Us and all these games. And we started spending a lot of time on lounge. And the mentors would hop in, they would come and chill with us and go. And eventually, like from not knowing what to talk to them, I started understanding what is the correct questions to ask them. Like, to like how can they help me? Basically, I was helping them help me. Like how can they help me? Like what's their approach? There are some people who specialize in UI, some in UX. And and it's okay, like everyone has their niche, and it helped me navigate. Also, I was coming from like a very public sector domain to a very new industry startup. I remember telling Abhinav ki what is WAGME. Like from there I started my journey. But no, lounge really helped me in the sense that it also made me very comfortable in my skin. Ki it's okay to not know, it's okay to not have all the answers, no question is stupid. Like it gave me that courage, that nudge ki let's try, and we'll see where it takes. And I think to have friends in an industry, like in a like in a work industry, it's a blessing. Like I can go to my normal friends and rant about this went wrong, that went wrong. But if you share this with your friends who are in the same industry, they'll always give you better solutions. And there are more chances of them, at least mentors who have gone through this journey. And that at least that similar journey happened to me in 10K. Like there was something that happened and I just didn't know how to navigate, or if I can talk about it. But there are people who went through it and they were like, it's very normal, this is how we navigate. So I think in that sense, I made very good relations in lounge. So, and I always recommend just talk to people. That's the best thing.
Abhinav, so Rishika has built so much hype around lounge sessions. So what are lounge sessions at 10K Designers? For people who are wondering now, what on earth is a lounge session?
Which lounge do they have?
Yeah.
So I would say, in fact, the next thing I was just going to ask Rishika is, I'll get back to the lounge thing. Rishika, when you were preparing for UPSC, I'm assuming a lot of that was offline, or was that also like
offline.
online learning kind of scenario? So I want to know some of those differences, right? Of course, you were prepping for UPSC and you had multiple attempts. Here you were kind of making a similar transition, let's just say, not exactly the same, but making an entry into a new field. What were some of those offline versus online type differences?
That's a very good and deep question. Like it's a very retrospective question. I think when I was preparing for UPSC, no matter what, like in the end, it comes down to you preparing alone. Like you are in the battlefield alone. No matter what the opponent is, you have to face it alone. And so most of my studying was in a closed room. Like I didn't know what's happening in the world except that was there in like Indian Express or Hindu. Like I didn't know what was happening like socially or in Bollywood, anything that was not in my newspapers, I was not aware of. And immediately when you come to a world as big as design, which is just evolving, and this is the phase when DAO was a very new term. Dogecoin had just launched, and I just stepped into design, and every day I would learn about something very new, or a new software, or a new technology that's been launched, like blockchain, AI, everything. And so it gets difficult if you are trying to understand these things alone. Like, so for UPSC, the purpose was to just understand, mug up, or whatever your level of understanding is, and reproduce that in the question paper. But right now, I would be designing for these people, so I think that the understandability factor changes by 100x. Like right now, you need to understand it well enough to make it easier for someone else. You just don't have to go and tell them कि वो मुझे आता है. You just have to be like कि this is how we can make your life easier. So I think that only comes by talking to more people, understanding their journey, their user experiences. So in that terms, doing this course online really helped me. Like it helped me go there faster, go there easier. And I think more often than not, you realize a lot of people are sailing on the same boat with you. So if someone finds the paddle, it's very like if you find those community who's willing to share that paddle with you. I'll row from left, you row from right, and we just reach faster. It's like that. So yeah.
Yeah. And so for folks who are wondering what lounge sessions are, basically what we've tried to do with the experience is create some kind of classroom environment. And the way we've been able to do that is we of course have our live session, which kind of feel like an actual session. But we also have a lot of like informal discussions that happen, right? Which can be like anytime during the day. And these kind of resemble more like, let's just say chai breaks and just random impromptu conversations or late night conversations. And what we do is we use voice rooms for this. So we use Discord voice rooms to just kind of set this up and make that happen. And so that's what lounge means here.
Yeah.
Love that. So, Rishika, how did you get the job at Zeta as a designer?
Sessions are basically what we've tried to do with the experience is create some kind of classroom environment. And the way we've been able to do that is we of course have our live sessions, which kind of feel like an actual session. But we also have a lot of like informal discussions that happen, right? Which can be like anytime during the day. And these kind of resemble more like, let's just say chai breaks and just random impromptu conversations or late night conversations. And what we do is we use voice rooms for this. So we use Discord voice rooms to just kind of set this up and make that happen. So that's what lounge means here.
Yeah.
Love that. So, Rishika, how did you get the job at Zeta as a designer?
So basically, yeah, again, this wouldn't have happened if I was on lounge that day. So the head of design at Zeta, Ramakrishna, he tweeted that they were looking for UX designers. And I like the first time I heard Zeta's name is when Zeta published their salary report in 2021. And we were in we were in the cohort, someone shared, and I was like, wow, that's a company I will not immediately apply. Like I was like, we have to build towards it. And that's when I just joined the cohort. But fast forward, Rama put a tweet out that they're looking for UX designers, and at least 5 people from the cohort DM'd me that tweet. So when the first person DM'd me, I was like, "ठीक है." When the second person DM'd me, I was like, "It's okay, you think I'm there, but thank you for the encouragement." When there so many people DM'd me, I was like, I owe it to them. Like they must understand, where they're coming from and all that. And I did apply, but I never thought it would convert, and I never imagined. So I went on their online portal and I applied through all the official portals they had. But what I also did is I went on Twitter, I stalked a couple of designers, and I realized who all are active, right? It doesn't make sense to just DM people who are not active. So I found folks who are active and I DM'd 2 of them, and one of them responded to me. And I wrote a very nice cold DM, a long message. I think why it worked for me is because I explained my entire journey, where I'm coming from, what I did, and what I'm capable of doing. This is my UX portfolio. Apart from design, I also do Photoshop, video making, illustration. I put all my links in one place and I shared that with them. Entire work, this is there, and I put my entire I basically gave them an introduction to what is happening in my life and where I'm coming from. So I think that helped a lot. I reached out to Anurag. He referred to me through his portal, and 2 days later I got a call from HR, and that's where the assignment process started.
And a quick question right there.
Yeah.
Did you have multiple UI case studies before you applied? And the reason I'm asking is, a lot of folks who are looking to apply at companies like Zeta, they're afraid that, hey, I don't have 3-4 different UI case studies, so maybe I shouldn't apply. So did you have UI case studies?
I think I'll get back to that, but I don't think a portfolio will ever be as ready as we want it to be. There'll always be some room for improvement, right? So in my case, I just had two UX case studies. They were good good UX case studies. They were thorough, but I didn't have any UI case studies. That was the entire reason why I was so hesitant about applying to Zeta. I was like, I don't have any UI work and it doesn't make sense, and what will they? But apparently they liked my work, and so yeah, anybody out there listening to this, just apply. Like, don't.
I don't think incrementally anything has changed, in my life over the last 3-4 years. I mean, it did change for a while, but then it kind of hit a plateau at some point. Like I think that plateau was like 4 or 5 years back. Where in terms of incrementally.
Can I ask you a question? What is that amount of money where that thing happens? We'll keep it real,
Yeah, check.
and
Sure.
we'll keep it fun. Last time, I think you were the few occurrences of repeat on Cred Curious. Thank you for agreeing to come and chat. I think it's good to chat with you every 2 years as the world is changing so quickly. We spoke in October 2020, middle of pandemic. My first.
And my views have been quite wrong.
But I'm curious, how did the pandemic change you? You had a bunch of personal events also in life, and all sorts of things. What is different in you now?
What's different in me?
Have priorities changed? Are you thinking life?
Yeah, no, I
about
mean,
life
I'm,
differently?
yeah, the thing is, so what happened was around the time the pandemic kicked in, my younger brother had a breakup, so we were kind of locked up, and we had a lot of alcohol in us, and, and that led to, like 3 months of, I think, 8 kilos of adding weight. And,
Match found.
But then, I think I kind of realized first time after a long time in my life that I've gotten old, right? Because the recovery wasn't happening. I mean, I could do binging sessions before and kind of bounce back almost immediately. And then personally for me, I think Seema got diagnosed with breast cancer, and then there was a whole, like the whole, surgery followed by chemo, followed by radiation, and yeah, so that was like a even more in your face saying, what you need to care more about your health. Seema has always been, really fitness freak, health conscious. So, she could bounce back in like 6 months, because I've seen, friends who've taken a long time to bounce back. So yeah, I think my priority in terms of health has definitely changed post-pandemic. I also, I started consuming a lot of this content from, guys like Andrew Huberman and Peter Attia, people who talk about health. And this whole concept of backcasting, which is, it's just to say, like, how do you want to lead your last 10 years of your life? And then kind of, make changes today so you can lead. So because otherwise what happens, right, when we talk health, we all have this, how do I want to look goals. And it's very easy to derail, right? As in, and you slip up, you derail, you might take a while to come back up. But when you have a really long-term goal, my goal is like 40 years from now, then even if you're slipping up, right, you know that it's a long-term goal. You're not trying to get a six-pack or whatever. So I think that has changed significantly in what I eat, how I think about fitness, how I think about my sleep and all of that. So yeah. So I think personally that has changed. Business, it was times of stupidity. I don't know, why our business.
So let's talk about stupidity for a bit. Almost everybody went a little crazy during COVID, and people did different crazy things. But there was a very specific thing that happened in terms of people and money. and that was reflected in crypto, that was reflected in your business, it was reflected in almost every form of some asset. People were just going little berserk, and you saw highest amount of demat growth, all of that. What's your reflection? What really happened, and what is the current state?
Yeah, I think it was a culmination of a bunch of things. Firstly, I think people have always thought about money and like how to save better, how to generate more returns. But there were a lot of people who were sitting on the fence. Like a lot of my friends. I've been trading the markets till from 17. Like so there were people for the last 20, 25 years who kept saying, Nitin, I'll open an account, I'll open an account. And I'll ask advice from you. And suddenly, like 4 months into COVID, and all these guys from who kept saying from 25 years, then we started opening accounts. So people had the mind share.
Choose your
so probably
agent.
one, people stopped spending as much, so there was more money on hand. Two was, interest rates anyways had crashed, so there was always like how do I make more money from my whatever savings. Three was, I think, the most important aspect. There's a lot of greed out there, right? As in, easy money. At least this whole theory that you can somehow make money easily is really what attracts most people to any asset class. And cyclically, every asset sees a bull market, a bear market. Right? Even real estate or gold or whatever. Right? So yeah, this was the time for stocks. So which is so there was money. The first bunch of guys who came, opened money, opened accounts, and invested in between March to June, July of 2020 saw money so quickly that they went around saying, what, it's easy to make money in the markets, and I think that just really triggered the virality of stocks. And we've been right place, right time, bunch of times in this journey. But I think the biggest, the most important time to have been at the right place, right time was the last 1 2 years. Right products, right initiatives, platforms ready to scale, and all of that. So yeah, so there was a lot of luck on our side. Of course, luck, when I say luck, there was a lot of work that went through the years, but just being ready at the right time is really what luck is about, right? And so yeah, I think it was like a potent combination. But from last December, Jan was really when markets peaked, right? As in terms of momentum, in terms of returns, in terms of activity, not just in India, across the world. And while India has outperformed most markets, we are just 4-5% below all-time highs. Whereas like you pick up the US, we are like 40-50% below. So we have outperformed. So we're still okay. But in terms of the activity, it's dropped 30-40%. In terms of new user acquisition, I was just reading an article which said, I personally feel we almost hit a plateau in terms of potential target audience out there. People with money who can invest in the markets who don't already have an account. I'm like, if the last 2 years didn't get them in, what will get them in? So it's unlikely that you suddenly have a large audience out there who didn't invest in the last 2 years who will suddenly decide to invest. And if they decide to invest, what is that event that will get them to invest? So in terms of my view, I think we were kind of hitting plateau in terms of people who have the money who can invest who haven't already invested. So I think the next 1 2 3 years will probably be harder on the industry, and there are a lot of regulatory changes as well. A lot of changes made in the last 2 3 years have not impacted the business because the business has grown so much. But now that you have all these regulatory actions plus the business slowing down, I think it's going to have a compounding kind of an effect on the business. I'm generally like what they call cheerful pessimist. But I remember back in October when you spoke also, I was saying a lot of pessimistic things. So I was proved wrong in a lot of these things. But I think it helps to be better prepared if you're generally thinking about scenarios of sorts.
Nitin, every time we've met one-on-one, while the most of this conversation should look like a very positive conversation, both of us are really and mostly deeply existential in many things that we do, and I'm going to talk about the dark side of the 2,000 crore profit for a bit. Before we go to the dark side, let's talk about the bright side of it. Can you give us some numbers, like how many customers, most importantly, how many team members, how many engineers slash product people? Just curious. Throw out some numbers.
Yeah, so I think for us the business is really the economy of scale. So when I said this, so in 2020 we were sorry 2019 actually we were at 1 million customers and we had 1100 people.
Last
We have
player
11 million
standing.
customers with 11 million. We haven't added like no so the other thing, what I feel really proud about more than the
As much as
profits,
this
right,
world
is
hurt
because
me,
that can come and go,
it's mine,
is really the trust we
and I
built
will kill to
out
defend
there.
it.
Because today these 11 million customers together hold almost 2 lakh crores plus securities with us. I don't think there's any platform in this country who's been able to build trust in such quick time. Of course, there's an ICICI, HDFC, but it's taken like 30, 40 years to be able to build that. So over the last 10, 12 years, we've been, the fact that people trust us with so much of security is really what I think is the biggest achievement of the business. I mean, if you build that much trust, money will happen. I mean, if not this year, we would have made money some other year, right? So the fact that we've been able to build the trust is really what I get excited about. About engineers, we had a 35-member tech team. So, Kailash, who heads the tech, we hired 2 people last year, and he said we hired too many. So, when we started the business, I also came from the school of thought.
अंदर के
Solve problems. But once Kailash joined in 2013 and just hanging around and his philosophy, I mean he's like my business guru of sorts. So his philosophy slowly kept rubbing on me, and then I kind of realized over time, he's actually right. It's complicated.
I
They
don't
don't
die
really
so
simplify.
easily.
And
बता तो हेवन ऊपर गया पागल है क्या
very
और सही तो कॉल दे रहा हूँ
hiring.
Don't worry.
I think COVID in that way was a blessing because when the business, when the lockdown happened, suddenly the business was scaling. I think we were one of the few businesses which was scaling when lockdown happened, the first lockdown, and there was no way to go quickly hire people. So the first thing I did was, I was saying, let's figure out what jobs inefficient, etc. And so we had like a 500-member inbound
Break
sales
them.
team, right? Which is, people, they drop off during onboarding. We call them up and say, dude, why do you drop off? You want to open an account, etc. So, we took a 50-member team of inbound sales and we said, let's move them to support. And we saw it made no difference, right? I was like, damn, how is that possible, right? And then the business kept going. So one day, I sent an email to everyone, we're stopping inbound sales. And it made no difference to us. No difference or conversion. No difference. I was always bothered about this, like giving targets and like giving, in terms of conversions and and I'm like,
One enemy
I don't
remaining.
even know what I was doing for 10 years, So the thing was, what happened to the business was in 2016, until 2016, onboarding was physical, right? People had to send a physical account opening form. So unless you followed up with the customer a bunch of times, no one would do it, right? But then onboarding became online in 2016. And to that, I think at some point of time, I realized that if someone doesn't want to open an account, he'll probably not open an account just because you're calling. As in, and we don't, we have never induced and stuff like that to open an account. So there's never been a freebie, and I've never, there's never been like, I've never given a sales guy any upsell or anything. We never sold anything to a customer to date. So yeah, so I mean, like that was like a big realization. Now what happened was all of these 500 people moved to support. The support ratings went up significantly. Because one of the hits we had taken as a business from before was really the quality of support. And now that we had like suddenly like a 7 or 8 member support team, just the support, the interaction times to everything else, just improved significantly. Which I think also kind of fueled into more business, because people then start saying, oh, dude, I call your call center in like under a minute. I send a ticket in like less than half an hour. So yeah, and we went internally and find every single problem that can be automated. And we were forced to do it. Not for COVID, maybe we would try to do the inefficient thing, which is to go hire people and try to solve the problem. Yeah, so now that we've done that, Now every time you're hiring, like every single hire, I'm like,
Wall तोड़ो, B की wall
we
तोड़ो।
really need this person.
B घुसेंगे हम,
Uh,
ये प्लांट करेंगे।
and I think like a smaller team is much easier to manage as well. I think the business is easier with smaller teams. Like
हम B
I
जाएंगे,
don't know
हम B
how I'll
जाएंगे,
do
थोड़ा
it,
सा
if
टिकट
we're
B
a
जाएंगे।
10,000 member team. I don't know how I'll manage 10,000 people. So I think I have found a comfort zone in this, like, around 10,000 people on the team. So because I almost know everyone's names now. So which is a cool thing, to be as a person leading a business that you can actually talk to like every person in your team by their name.
Feeling sight.
Just to double click, these are how many unique different businesses that are covered between these 1100 people.
Feeling
We
sight.
also have a little bit of that NBFC fees, all planning included in that.
So I mean, okay.
Last
Run by
player
one tech
standing.
guy and 3 ops guys, and we run like a 25,000. The NBFC is run by 5 people.
How large is that already?
The thing is, like, my view on lending. So, it's
And my view on derivatives, but we'll go to that part.
let's not talk about it. Yeah, so it's a hidden feature. We haven't spoken about it. I think it's like 100 crore. Okay. So, what else do we do? The Rainmaster, a fintech fund. We are 2-timing it. So it's like a bunch of us who run Zerodha also a part of it. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, no, as in the thing is, one of the things I think I did right, early on was to say that anything that I pay attention to our business,
Last player standing.
I'd rather collaborate with just like to do everything.
मत उठा भाई।
So that's how.
Last player standing.
For example, like Pico, that is the insurance business, and we are partnered with them. It's already like probably the second largest online
I want their
insurance
life,
subscription
not
platform in the
yours.
country. And so we could have built it ourselves, but I would have probably lost focus on our core offering. So I said, and that's how we've done, right? From small case to Streak to, I don't know, like there are 15-20 startups in that portfolio. So that way we didn't have to, like, we could just focus on that one core thing, where we believe our competencies lie.
Let's get set.
And looking back, I think that.
Spike down A.
Leave the spot.
Last player standing.
Act on my impact.
भाई मुझे ओमन अरेना खेलने देते हैं।
Reloading.
हाँ तो एम पे मार ले, एम भी कुछ होता है।
भाई तुझे ओमन खेलना आता नहीं, शांत रह।
ओ इससे बात मत करिए, अभी इसने ही मारे सारे बंदे, ठीक है? अंग्रेज
क्या
का
कर लिया मार के भाई?
क्या कर लिया मार के? तूने क्या कर लिया? कैमरा लगा के, तेरे पास तो कैमरा लगा के देख। अपनी गार्ड में लगाएगा कैमरा,
भाई, चल।
अपनी गार्ड में छाटे वाल देखेगा कैमरा
चल
लगा।
मैं ऐसे ही टॉक करता हूँ।
Reloading.
चलो तुम लोग खेला देखते हैं, मेरे बिना क्या करते हो तुम लोग। जीत तो दिखा दे एक्स्ट्रा राउंड।
तेरे बिना ही कर रहा है भोसड़ी अभी तक।
हाँ देख रहा बॉटम का आवाज दे रहा है।
आयरन का 14 भोसड़ी का।
Spike down mid.
स्किन के लोले, एम तो सीख ले।
Last player standing.
तेरे बिना हम लोग कुछ भी कर सकते, लेकिन तेरे जैसा काम नहीं कर
Quiet
सकते।
now.
देख क्यों होता है।
Stay taut as a bowstring. The fight demands it. Reloading. Reloading. Cover.
Cutting their vision.
Enemies scanning ahead. There they are.
Still in sight. Last player standing. Flawless.
I feel the strain. Lock it up. Reloading.
भैया आप नेक्स्ट गेम हमारे साथ खेलो साइफर, आपको जो खेलना है वो खेलना, ठीक है?
Come into the unknown.
Still in sight. Cutting their vision.
Scanning ahead.
Fire in the hole!
Found them. See.
Spike down B. Last player standing.
दो बंदे निकाले उसके ऊपर से निकली सारी गोलियां बालू।
Stand tall. We are
Reloading.
tolerant. We are fighters. Need a drop.
Reloading. Reloading.
हाँ अरे
Will be their nightmare.
साइफर भाई ठीक है भाई, नेक्स्ट गेम साथ में खेलना भाई, आप जो खेलना चाहो वो खेलो, ठीक है? ठीक है भैया?
For you.
Reloading. Blinding. Reloading.
Still in sight.
जाना रेना, हट जाना, नहीं मारा जा रहा तो हट जा।
सारे चिपक के तू मेरे पीछे आया भाई, मैं आगे जा रहा था, तू हट जाता, मेरे को अटका दिया। साला
Is everyone hiding?
Last player standing. Last round in the half.
Reloading. Spend everything. We keep nothing.
Spikes here.
Track them down. The best of the best, and we still forget the spike. Shadows traveling. Reloading. Nowhere to run!
Having their vision. Healing you.
दो है
Captain killed. Enemy spotted.
ऊपर शोभा ऊपर
Feeling sight. They will come. Spike down A. One enemy remaining.
ऊपर रेना नीचे रहा ओमन नीचे है थोड़ा ब्लाइंड था
I have this spike. Last player standing. 30 seconds left. Planted.
पीक मत दे
Switching sides. The symphony of death. Hurry to get used to it. No prisoners. Spike down A.
अरे माता चुप तो मेरे मुंह पे चढ़े जा रहे लोड़े के मागे चुप तुम्हारी डैमेज है रेज डैमेज है 50 रेज 50
I hate visiting underground doctors.
They're just batteries. I need a recharge.
हेलो आवाज आ रहा है?
अबे साले चक्के नल्ले
क्या बे आते भाई मेरा एनर्जी खत्म हो गया भाई।
भाई आधा घंटा रुकने बोला था, एक मैच से क्या हो जाता ना।
आधा घंटा ज़्यादा हो गया शायद।
अरे तुम्हें कब से रुकी तो रहा हूँ, डेथ मैच खेल लिया भाई, पूरा डेथ मैच खेल लिया, स्पाइकरस खेल लिया, स्पाइकरस स्विप प्ले खेल लिया।
तू अभी नहीं आया क्या?
बीपे बहुत
अरे
तब भी मैं घुस गया था।
बहुत तोड़ रहा है तो
मेरे को बोल देता, एक काम कर तू खेल ले बे, मैं 10 बजे वैसे को आऊँगा।
यार बहुत तोड़ रहा है।
ठीक है
ऊपर है, बॉल चढ़ा के आए वो अपनी।
Basics.
Their lives are so meaningless. Might as well give them to me.
साइफर ब्रो, नेक्स्ट गेम खेल रहे हो ना आप मेरे साथ? आप रेना बनोगे ना? आप अच्छे प्लेयर हो।
चल भाई कोई बात नहीं यार।
क्या खेल लेगा ना?
हाँ इसके बाद मेरे जाना है इसलिए कोई बात नहीं।
नहीं भाई, ऐसे कैसे भाई? अपनी रेला को फ्लैश दे दिया मैंने.
Cage triggered.
Spike planted.
Perfect. Scanning ahead. Found them.
Last player standing.
My power does not.
Reloading.
Ask for aid, and you shall receive.
Spike down mid.
यार रेज 150 रेज 148 सॉरी 50 कह रहा हूँ 148 2 HP से 2 HP रेज है. ये साइफर बी है बी. नाइस लेजी.
Spike down mid.
मार क्या मारा
140 लो 140.
अरे हट.
Spike planted.
One
enemy remaining.
Hello. Sova dismar over.
Diffuse कर.
Revealing area.
तू डिफ कर.
There they are.
पूरा हो रहा था. Very good.
Let them try to get through.
Reloading.
तुम हमको चाह इतनी सी बात का बुरा ना मानो यार.
Claw through them. Cover going out.
Hey guys, जल्दी.
Get inside.
Prepare for hellfire.
You will not kill my allies.
Spike planted.
My eyes are down.
Last player standing.
ये भैया टॉप फ्रैगर है हमारे.
One enemy remaining.
Probably afraid. Where is everyone hiding? Cage triggered.
हो गया टाइम हो गया नूबड़े.
Match point.
Reloading.
They don't have a single life worth saving.
भैया प्रो प्लेयर साइफर प्रो प्लेयर लो प्ले का है ये प्लेयर. ओ
Obscuring their vision.
See.
They will cover.
Spike down. C.
अरे एक तो मार लो, उसने मारे इतने सारे.
Enemy spotted. C.
Last player standing. One enemy remaining. Spike down.
Garage.
Shock dart.
Attackers win.